You've probably heard that Kentucky takes basketball seriously. But have you ever wondered why it feels less like a sport and more like a religion? Across this state, families have passed down their devotion like scripture. Blue everywhere, arenas packed, generations who've never missed a game. Stick around because you're about to understand exactly how that happened. That devotion didn't appear out of nowhere. It grew out of the land itself. Kentucky has never had a franchise in the NFL, NBA, MLB, or NHL. Not one. Think about what that means for generations of fans growing up in small towns, hours from Lexington. There was no Sunday afternoon NFL team to follow. No NBA playoff run to argue about at the diner. The Wildcats weren't just the best option. They were the only option. And in a state that's largely rural, where whole communities would crowd around a radio on a winter Saturday night, that loyalty had nowhere else to go. It pooled, it deepened, it became something else entirely. Then came Adolph Rupp. Nicknamed the Baron of the Bluegrass, he coached the Wildcats to 4 NCAA championships, 1 NIT championship, and 27 Southeastern Conference titles. He was legendary for developing local talent. 80% of his players came from Kentucky itself. Rupp didn't just win. He turned Kentucky boys into national champions. And every small town that sent a kid to Lexington felt like it had a piece of that trophy. Casual interest hardened into something fiercer. The geography had built a captive audience. Rupp gave them a dynasty to believe in. With no pro teams to root for, Kentucky fans had no choice but to pour everything into the Wildcats. But do you think that kind of all-in devotion is unique to Kentucky? Drop your answer in the comments below, because Rupp built the foundation. But what came next is what turned devotion into something almost unbreakable. But here's where Rupp's dynasty stops being a history lesson and starts being a religion. Every faith has its rituals. Kentucky has Big Blue Madness. It started in 1982, when Coach Joe B. Hall held a late-night open practice just to generate buzz for his team. That's it. Nothing sacred about it on paper. But what began as a simple midnight practice has since morphed into a primetime spectacle, with more than 20,000 fans cramming into Rupp Arena. Not for a game, but for a practice. Think about what that means. 20,000 people showing up to watch a team run drills. That's not fandom, that's devotion. And the cathedral they fill? Rupp Arena itself is named after the legendary coach Adolph Rupp, the same man who built the dynasty in the first place. Championship banners from 1948, 1949, 1951, 1958, 1978, 1996, 1998, and 2012 hang in the rafters. 8 of them. Not trophies locked in a case, banners overhead, watching every game, reminding everyone in the building what this program is supposed to be. Those aren't decorations, they're relics. And the faith gets passed down. Grandparents who watched Rupp's teams on a crackling radio bring grandchildren to Rupp Arena today. The blue doesn't skip generations. What you're watching on that court every season isn't just basketball. It's an entire state telling itself who it is, what it survived, and what it still believes. That's why it was never going to be just a sport. Subscribe for more stories like this, and watch the next video right now.